Good afternoon or good morning. Thank you for joining National Citizens Alliance in collaboration with the Yellow Vests Canada. We're here right across the street from the Montreal City Hall to give out some information to inform the public of all of the corruption that's going on. There's City Hall. Yes, yeah. And this is the building here in Montreal where much of the corruption is going on. And so we're here today. My name's Adrian, and I'm here with my NCA fellow member John Savoy. He's the cameraman right at this time. And so we are here to give out some information to let the people know about the corruption. And whoops, I'm trying to get along down here. Yes, so we're just here to let the public know that we're losing our sovereignty. We're gonna lose our Canada if we don't do something about it. We need to get everybody informed on what's going on regarding all of these corruption tactics, you know, such as SNC and all of the globalist tendencies that our government is pushing. And yeah, we've got to put a stop to it now. Bonjour.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Yeah. Foot traffic seems to be a little bit light right now. Probably because it's still a little cold, I guess. Not too bad, about minus 15. Not too bad. And yep. So we got to let the people know. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
Sergeant, what's going on about the corruption here in Canada? Why do you say that we're having issues here in Canada with corruption? What is going on here?
Well, it's been going on for several decades actually now. Probably for about the past 3 to 4 decades. Going back as far back as Pierre Elliott Trudeau. When he introduced, first of all, the Multicultural Act. Back in, I can't remember the year exactly, but sometime about the mid-70s. And from then on, it just steamrolled. It just continued on with every successive Prime Minister.
So you're saying that the government, the Canadian government, knowingly signed us on to the Multicultural Act, which opened the doors to what? Mass immigration?
That's right. That's right.
And this created an influx.
Oh yes, yes.
An influx of immigrants to Canada, merci. An influx of immigrants to our Canada, correct?
Yes, yes. It's gotten worse and worse.
So what's happened? Well, is it transforming Canada today?
It's a slow but sure transformation, yeah.
All right, so let's step back a minute. You talked about Multicultural Act. What came after that, directly after that? What kind of was implemented then by maybe... was it Agenda 21?
Yes, I believe the next, there might have been something prior to Agenda 21, but certainly yes, Agenda 21 was signed on by, I don't want to say the Harper government, but possibly maybe somebody before that. Can't
Romy?
Do the research and you'll be able to find out who signed Canada onto the Agenda 21. And then after that, we had Agenda 2030.
Yes.
And now, of course, we have the Global Compact, and it's all part of the United Nations. It's all part of the United Nations plan to initiate mass immigration into Canada. Create this climate change hoax, you know, to bring about the carbon tax. It's the UN and all the globalist elites. they're corrupt to the core, without a doubt. Yeah.
So let's get this straight. Immigration is good for Canada, right? At responsible and accountable levels, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we do have an issue with mass immigration here in Canada. And the issue is that we as a country cannot sustain the mass aspect of immigration.
Right.
Correct? So the open borders policy, which allows people to flow in
yes.
from outside our borders and take advantage of, one, our way of life, and then number two, the resources that we have, and the forms of what?
The social services,
medical, dental, housing,
yes, exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So they're taking full advantage of this, right?
That's right, yeah.
And here's the concern, Canadians. Let's just wake up. Let's just wake up and listen to the facts here. Radical ideologies do not belong in Canada.
Right.
That is the bottom line. Radical ideologies have no place here.
Right.
We talk about radical Islam because it's the most prevalent in Canada. That's what we're most familiar with because it hits the news the most.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
It isn't just radical Islam. It has to do with any type of radicalization in Canada.
That's right.
Period. All right? So if you want to sit there and pretend these aren't facts, and you want to be delusional, and you want to ignore this substance of the matter, which is in fact, we are in danger. Do you understand that? Our government has placed us in danger. And that is the bottom line.
And it's been going on for several decades.
Several decades. This implementation of this globalization has occurred over time, progressively and aggressively, we should say, right?
Yeah, whether it be the Liberals, the Conservatives, it does not matter. It doesn't matter.
What do you mean liberals and conservatives, it doesn't matter? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, what it means is that...
you just don't like liberals and conservatives, Adrian. What is it exactly? Explain it to me.
Liberals and conservatives, they're all...
they're cronies.
They're all one and the same.
They are, so they're cronies.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're both globalists? It's a flip-flop globalist for globalist? But wait a minute. I support conservatives, they'll say, or I support liberals, right? They're not going to support liberals this time around, right? They're going to what? They're going to try to flip to the conservatives, right?
All people got to do is they just got to think. They just got to look at the past. What's happened? One election you vote the Liberals or the Conservatives. After 4 years, things have gotten probably no better, probably even worse.
Yeah.
So the next time you say, okay, I'm going to go to the other party.
Yeah.
And you get the same thing. You just keeps repeating itself as it has for about the last 3 or 4
Well, what about the NDP? What about the PPC, Adrian?
Look what the NDP has done to Alberta now.
What have they done to Alberta? Explain.
They ruined it. Their oil, the oil services have gone completely, to the dogs.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that all the crony establishment in Ottawa is destroying Canada, and they're all responsible, whether they're connected directly or indirectly. Is that what you're saying today?
Exactly right.
That's what you're saying. So what is a Canadian going to do to fight this and combat this issue that we have with corruption today?
We need a government. We need to completely restructure the government. Give the government back to the people.
How do we do that?
Vote for a government vote for a party like National Citizens Alliance.
So they're a nationalist party, right?
We are a nationalist
that
party.
sounds racist to me, man.
Yeah, I know.
Nationalists, right? Are we programmed to believe a nationalist party is a racist?
Exactly.
They're bigots?
Yeah.
Is that what it is, Adrian?
Not at all. There's nothing wrong with being a nationalist.
I can be patriotic and not be a racist. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right.
Right, and I can support my countrymen and put them first, and that's not being racist, right?
That's exactly right.
Right, because people come here. People come here for what reason?
Oh, well.
For our way of life.
For our way of life, exactly. Yeah.
So why would anybody want to come here and not assimilate to our way of life when we are courteous enough? To accept them for face value and share with them our resources, financial support, medical care, dental care, job training, academics. It goes on and on and on. Right. But yet they don't want to assimilate to our way of life. Is that a radical ideology?
There are some of them that do. There are some immigrants that when they come, yes, they do integrate, they do assimilate, and those are the people that we want. There's good immigrants that come, and they come because they want to work, they want to contribute. They don't want to come just to get free health care, free social services and all that. Those are the immigrants that we're looking for. Now what's happening is that we're being flooded with upwards of 350,000 a year.
250,000 immigrants per year?
Annually, yeah. 300.
Oh, I got to stop you right there. I'm sorry, Adrian.
Yeah.
I looked at PPC policy the other day.
Yeah.
Deceptive Max Bernet is what I call him. He says that he's not a globalist, that he reduced, immigration policy on his platform. By the way, he mimics the Conservative Party.
That's right.
Is what he's written on there.
Yeah.
But he states, I'm going to reduce that to 250,000 per year.
Yeah,
is that mass immigration, Adrian?
That is still.
Was there a substantial drop there? Is that a nationalist approach?
That is still in line with mass immigration. National Citizens Alliance. What we propose is that if we are in power, within the first year, we're actually going to put a temporary pause on immigration so that we can fix the immigration policy. And then within that first year, we're going to implement a maximum of 50,000 annual, maximum 50,000, and that is more than enough to help fill some of the and of those 50,000 people, we want the people with skills. Okay, we don't want people coming here that don't even speak one of our languages. That's another big problem. A lot of them they can't speak English or French, so we have to provide them with services which cost money so they can learn our language.
Linguistic,
we prefer to have people that come that can at least speak one of our languages, and they're willing to work, and they're willing to become Canadian. Okay, nothing wrong with them keeping their own culture, but so long as their culture does not go against our traditional values and customs.
Right. So with the policy current, this ideology, we need to remember that to replace our way of life through radicalization of Canada, right? Yeah. And we're going to use radical Islam. Imagine that. Exactly. Because it is a threat to you. It's a threat to your safety. It's a threat to our way of life. Right. Their intentions are purely evil, and that's the bottom line. Canadians, that is the bottom line. Exactly. You are not exempt just because you think you are sitting in your chair at your home, in your home on your watching television. You are not exempt. This is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous policy. Let's move on past immigration, because that's all we seem to talk about.
Exactly, because the United Nations is not just about immigration. It's about the climate change, the big hoax, the climate change. They're implementing so many different socialist type of programs. It's scary. It's scary. They want to control every facet of our life. Whether it's got to do with how we're going to live. They want to take away our free speech.
They already have in some cases, haven't they?
Exactly. We're already losing our free speech.
What do they call that? Islamophobia?
Well, that's
what the hell is Islamophobia?
Islamophobia, exactly. Yes.
What is that? We can't be nervous and scared of fear?
It's ridiculous.
We can't talk against it?
Yes, exactly. Islamophobia is actually something that was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was actually something that was started by the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay.
Yes.
And what it is, Islamophobia is a
suppression.
It's a way of taking. It's a way of us losing our right to free speech. So this Islamophobia bill, think about it. Why is it that Islam is the only religion that has a phobia attached to? That is the only religion that has its name attached to the word phobia.
Yes.
Because that's their way of squashing us before we can even have the right to speak out, to criticize Islam.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with criticizing our religion. So long as you're not inciting people, to do violent things or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with criticizing religion. I mean, think about it. I'm sure other religions, whether it be Hindus or Christianity, whatever, they've been criticized for decades, for eons, right? for a long time.
Adrian,
But yet, Islam wants the special treatment of you having a law attached that you cannot criticize their religion.
Listen, Canada, let's wake up, okay? Infrastructure is falling apart. It's old, it's dated. The corruption runs deep. Healthcare system is taxed to the max. You are not getting the quality service that we deserve. I'm going to throw in there right now, there is nothing wrong with Canada being 37 million strong, 34 million strong. There doesn't need to be 100 million Canadians walking up in North America. You think about our quality of life. You think about what we have to offer and how quickly our resources will be utilized. You think about you think about this. The national approach is the approach. Veterans,
Yes.
military, citizens. We need a nationalist approach. You deserve the resources, the services, the compensation. You deserve to build your families as Canadians here on our soil in safety. That's what you deserve.
Yeah.
RCMP, you deserve to have the best resources in place. You deserve to have the top training. Our military does. Our institutions of academics, they should be the best in the world. Right?
That's right.
They shouldn't be liberal focused. They shouldn't be brainwashing our population. I did say that, didn't I? I said our schools are brainwashing the population.
Yep. Neuro-linguistic
Programming. Hello, people. Wake up. Smell the coffee. The time is now. Lay stagnant. Pretend this isn't happening. You'll get nowhere, Canada. Your safety's in jeopardy. Wake up. We're telling you right now. Look at trying to buy a house in Canada.
Go to our website.
Look at trying to buy a house in Canada. It's controlled by the banksters. Hello, Canada. We are taxed to death as it is. And then we throw interest on top of that, compounding interest. There is no need for what's going on here. No need whatsoever. Adrian.
The good thing about National Citizens Alliance is, and you can take this to the bank, National Citizens Alliance, we don't look at ourselves as politicians. We look at ourselves as direct representatives of the public.
That's a direct extension of the people or the government.
Extension of the public, exactly. Yeah. So we don't want to be. We don't look at ourselves as politicians. We believe that as direct representatives of the public, that we should be working for the public and giving some of the power, some of the decisions back to the public. Referendums. We believe that and this is in our policies. You can go to our homepage, nationalcitizensalliance.ca, and you can look at all of our policies. And in one of our policies, we believe in we want to institute national referendums on key issues that are very important to the Canadian people. The last time we had a referendum in Canada was the Quebec referendum, and that was how long ago? Probably at least a couple of decades ago, if not longer. We never see referendums. Why not? Why not? Because the current governments do not want the people to be involved in the decision making, and that is wrong.
This might be a conspiracy theory the way you're talking. Is it, Adrian? Is a conspiracy true fact?
Yeah, it's true fact. I wish it was just a theory, but no, unfortunately it's not.
So Canada.
The only time I remember hearing anything about a referendum myself is the Quebec separation, the referendum.
What was that, back in the 70s? Early 90s?
I think it was, at least
it's irrelevant because NCA believes in the United Canada, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I want you to think about this, Canadians. Let's just pretend we're sitting down at the table having a little conversation, okay? Think about this for a minute. We're a democracy, are we?
Supposed to.
Because we're what? We're suppressed. We're oppressed. We're in Montreal, Quebec. Jennifer Fox. So we live in a democracy, but we're living like socialists.
Yes, exactly.
We're enslaved to what? Taxes.
Yes.
We have no say in government.
Government wants their hands in everything now. They've got their hands in how our kids are to be taught in school. Even grade school now. They're teaching our children, ridiculous things that have nothing to do with, higher education. Like they're teaching our kids things about gender equality of all ridiculous things. Can you imagine? You know, children, you know, in grade 2, 3, 4, and they're teaching them about gender equality.
Japanese katia.
You know, it's, huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So the government is, they want to control every facet of our life, and it's just got to stop. It's time. We need to go with a government that is proud of Canada, and they want to keep Canada as Canada.
It's a nationalist approach. It's a sovereign nation. Because the globalization of Canada is open door policy that makes us sovereign no more. What does sovereignty mean?
Sovereignty means
we govern ourselves, right? We don't have someone dictating to us with a globalist objective. We don't need that, Canada. We don't need that, Canada. We can't afford that. We're already taxed. We're already working too hard. We can't even develop or give to our families what we really want to give them because of the taxes, Canada. Don't you want to prosperity? Don't you want prosperity for you and your family, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues? Seriously, seriously, let's get this in check. Canadians first. We need to be united across our nation. Adrian, what's our location? We have a request to that. Where are we located?
Now we're actually right across the street from this big.
What's the address here, Adrian?
Jacques Cartier Place. Well, the street is called. We're on the corner of Saint Claude and Hotel de Ville. So, and right in front of me, I'm facing right over here. This is the City Hall.
Beautiful City Hall, Canada.
Yeah.
We're in the old part of Montreal right now, if you really want to know. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Quebec Coast, they're good people. The New France, it's alive.
It really is. I mean, you know, some of these buildings are...
It's part of us,
you can
culture,
see some of the
Canadians, Canada.
Yeah. You can see some of the European styling in like almost like a Victorian style in the building in the you know, to me I think it's Victorian. I'm
Old Port, yes.
Yeah, I'm not a
historian.
I'm not a exactly.
Well, you look like a historian, Adrian.
But yeah, the buildings are very beautiful here, but it's just so sad that Montreal is being transformed. You know, just like much of the other cities in Canada. It's amazing.
So back to the globalization and how it affects us today. It affects us by increased taxation, assimilation. Let's just be factual here. Toronto, support me here, Canadians. Think about this. Assimilation to another's way of life, not ours, right? Is that not an issue to you? Because last time I looked around, and I'm looking around here, you see this? I'm checking it all out. This is Canada, okay? We do not assimilate to another's way of life. Get that out of your head. We are Canada. These are our rules. These are our laws. You go by our laws. You go by our rules. You do not change. You do not attack our way of life. If you want to do so, you can leave. It's that simple. Canadians first, nationalist approach, sovereign nation. That's the way we're gonna roll. Veterans, military, citizens of our Canada, you need to wake up. You need to create change. You need to unite. If you do not, and you continue to be brainwashed, and you continue to allow this globalization to affect us and impact us in a negative way, the way it is today, right now, look at our government. Let's identify some of those key players. They are globalists. Andrew Scheer, globalist. Maxime Bernier, globalist. Justin Trudeau, globalist. Anybody attached, directly or indirectly, is in violation. They are globalists. That is the bottom line. Make it clear. Stand up, Canada. We're Canada proud. We need to be proud. We will not be taken over by globalists. We will be a united nation and a nationalist approach. Isn't that right, Adrian?
Exactly. Yeah, we have to realize that it's never going to change unless we restructure the government into. We need a nationalist government, and I don't mean white nationalists. Really, it's really ridiculous when we say the word nationalist, and some people automatically equate that with the white nationalists. Far right. It's not. We're simply, I guess, probably we'd be center right, I guess, on the political spectrum, and You know, and even our policies.
We're centered on NCA, Adrian.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, some people, like, you know, it's interesting too that some of our policies, by some people, they might seem a little bit left. Okay, so it all depends on the issue at hand. So some of our policies might be center right, some would be center left. You know?
But the real important issue is that we take care of Canadians, and we hear your voice, and we act for the majority.
Oh, yeah.
So this is not a top-down federal party. We're a bottom-up, meaning direct extension of the people, Canada. What don't you get? Why are you sitting there scared? Political correctness? Has it got you cramped? What do they call that? NLP, yeah. Neuro-linguistic programming. We learned about that the other day. Stephen Garvey presented it. Let's use that information, factual information, to our advantage. Let's start thinking like Canadians. We are independent. We are strong. We are united. We are Canadian. We represent diversity, yes, but in a controlled, organized fashion, meaning responsible and accountable. Children of tomorrow, Canada, you want them to carry the burden of today? Are you serious? Wake up. Wake up, think about your children, think about your family, move this country forward in a united nationalist approach. That's what you need to do. Why do you sit there and just think change is going to happen without taking the initiative? That is the issue. God bless our Canada. God bless our youth. God bless you. We need to be united. That's the bottom line. People, you're in fear. You're scared. You don't like political correctness. You don't like it. You know you don't, because it's suppression. That's all it is. We have freedoms in Canada, and we need to keep it that way. Sovereignty, democracy is not free. Sovereignty and democracy is not free. Go ask a veteran. Look at the price they paid. Look at how the Canadian government ignores our veterans. They ignore our military. Look how they ignore you. You have nothing here, Canada, right now, because the government controls you. They control you. Do you understand what that means? This is socialism. You answer to the dictatorship sitting in Ottawa. It should not be that way. You understand? Government should always be a direct extension of the people. And that is the bottom line. You need to stand up. You need to unite. In a nationalist approach, we need to create change together. We cannot do it alone. NCA cannot do it alone. We need you. We need everybody in Canada, the citizens of Canada, to unite in a nationalist approach. Take action. Sit not stagnantly. Look at Adrian. Okay? He's about retired. He's out here because he cares about the values. He cares about our way of life. Antifa, you need to get the cloud, the fog out of your mind and think about what you're representing. Where did this training come from? Why do you think the way that you do? Is it okay to want to replace your neighbor, your family? And the radicalization that's going on, this radicalized transformation of Canada. Get it in check. I often hear from people, oh, you're racist, you don't like immigrants. That is baloney. We're very much in touch with immigrants. We do believe in immigration. Once again, I'm repeating myself. We believe in what?
We have some great immigrants in our party.
Absolutely.
We have great members that are some immigrants, great immigrants.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, you know, people don't. You know, they have to make that clear that we're not against immigration.
That's right. We're not against immigration. What are we for? Responsible and accountable immigration. Exactly. We will not let people come into our Canada unchecked, and we're certainly not going to allow ISIS fighters onto our soil and pay them to be here. That's the bottom line. You understand? Yeah. Canada, wake up! What is wrong here, people? Right. Why is Adrian out here? He's retired almost. I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm not trying to pick on you. But you are about retired, right, Adrian?
I retired last year, actually.
My point is, he's out here doing it. He's taking action with the National Citizens Alliance, pro-Canadian, anti-globalist, standing up for what's right. He's standing up for you. Yes, your mind may be clouded, Antifa. Yes, you don't understand fact. You're emotionally too involved. You're not figuring out fact from fiction. You're not going through that process of importance, okay? Agents out here to take care of you. He's delivering for you, to protect your interest, to allow you to be able to speak your thoughts in freedom, in justice.
I actually retired about 6 years ago, and but because of the ridiculous wages that they're paying Canadians, I had no choice. I had to go back to work about 3 years ago.
Adrian,
just to be able to survive, I had to go back to work.
Adrian, you know it's
that to sound like a big song and dance, but I'm just saying that's the situation that's facing a lot of Canadians nowadays. Our veterans, our seniors, are barely they're living at or below the poverty level.
Adrian, listen to this. Adrian retires. He talks about the CPP supplement that he gets, the retirement program. It doesn't amount to anything. They've taxed you your whole life. I'm just going to use a number, and they give you 500 loonies a month, and then they tax you at the end of the year for that.
I wish.
Isn't that absolutely ridiculous?
I wish I was getting 500 a month.
But you know, my point is, and I just heard someone on a video from government, I don't know who it was exactly, he was talking about, oh, well, we got to support, you know, our generous retirement program, the CPP. Are you kidding me? It's the biggest unjust and crony scam going on in Canada.
It's great. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I myself personally, I know several seniors that are struggling to get by, and they worked hard all their lives, and they get no thanks for it. And yet our government is spending billions of dollars on these ridiculous socialist programs that do not help the Canadians at all. It's ridiculous.
So the money isn't staying internally to fix the things that need to be done.
Right.
We need to take care of our house first, right, Adrian? We got to stop sending money overseas, supporting terrorists, right? What's going on with our government? Can't people see that this is corruption?
Exactly.
And they think it's just Trudeau. He's the face. He's the puppet. It's more than that, isn't it? It's a globalist control over our government. The only correction, the only recourse we have right now is National Citizens Alliance. I'm not just saying that to promote. It's the truth. All these parties are corrupt. They're controlled by the globalists. They're controlled internally and externally. That's it. It's the damn truth. PPC is just a front. The guy is a globalist. Deceptive Max is a globalist. Yes, you don't like it? Too bad. It's factual. He's tied to Soros. We did a video on that. You understand, Canada?
Yeah, exactly. Just go to our webpage, nationalcitizensalliance.ca, and you'll see the videos. You'll see all the truth.
Absolutely. Bonjour. Yeah. So, look, Canada. I know this is kind of a long-winded little protest Adrian and I are putting on because no one else is out here with us. But I'll tell you what, we love it. We get to see a lot of culture. We get to see a lot of architect here in the city. We're in Montreal in the Old Port. We're meeting great people. We're not meeting them here on video, but we do meet some good people, great Canadians. Yeah. It's great. It's great to be out here. Yes, it's a little cold, but we're doing good things. We're standing proud. We are Canadians. We're being responsible. We're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for democracy. And that's what we do because we are Canadians. And that's how we continue to be. Because it's not free. It's not free.
It's got to stop.
Speak up, Adrian.
The Canadian people have to be. They got to stop being complacent in what's been going on what's been going on. Canadians have been complacent in so many different things for far too long. It's time to start getting mad, or at least start getting upset and realize that we're being used and abused, and it's been going on for decades.
We're going to rally in every province and territory in our Canada. We are going to get the support of our veterans, our military, and our citizens because we are National Citizens Alliance. We are going to stand up for our country, our values. We are going to implement into the pillars of society freedom, fairness, and equality. And we will do that with you and beside you and together.
We need to get our country back. We are losing it. We're losing our country. A lot of people don't see it, but the changes.
Strong and free.
The changes the changes might be subtle, but they are definitely there. I mean, I could not believe it when I went to Ottawa last summer when I went to Ottawa. and I could see the changes in that probably at least 50% of the people were visible minorities, okay? And this is actually, it's going in this direction in many of the big cities. I read somewhere where they estimate that in Vancouver, now the population is probably 40% Asian, Chinese or Japanese or whatever, and probably another 30% is probably East Indian, and then maybe the 20-30% might be you know, kind of Caucasian, and you know, so yeah, anyway, it's the changes are just unreal.
And that's not the point. What he's trying to stress here, Adrian's trying to point out this, okay? It's the mass immigration. It needs to be controlled. It needs to be responsible. It needs to be accountable. That's all he's trying to say. Yeah. We're not going down the road saying that we're racist. We're just pointing out some different values here. The value is that we need to unite as Canadians. And yes, we do need to control immigration. Let's get off the immigration piece, okay? Because it isn't all about immigration. It's about the corruption. It's about being a sovereign nation. It's about waking up. It's about getting the services back to the people. It's about creating a government that is a direct extension of the people. That's what it's all about. Right now, Canada, look around. When's the last time you talked to your MP and had a real conversation at our level? Because I know those people that are working out there, they're working every day, you know, and they want to retire, but they can't. They're not being heard because they don't care. Okay? That's wrong. That's top-down policy. These bottom-up, direct extension. Who delivers? National Citizens Alliance. See that? Good. All right? Good. That's what it talks about. And what we're up against is this. It's called evil. Evil is what we're against. Evil, 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 because it's about globalists. It's about globalists. And NCA is pro-Canadian. We are not globalists. We're anti-globalist. And we need to stand up for our values, for our way of life. We need to put the money back where it belongs. And I'm going to tell you again, like I spoke just moments ago, all my veterans in Canada, you deserve more. You deserve resources. You deserve the services. You deserve compensation. No more will you be ignored. You will not be ignored by the National Citizens Alliance. Aboriginals, you don't have good drinking water in some of your communities. We will fix that. No, we will not hand money out to you. We will provide you services. We will take care of you. We will work together. We will work together to create a sovereign nation. We will work unilaterally on your goals to achieve your independence. We will work together to educate. We will rid you of bad government. We will create a good government. Because we are together, we are Canadians. We are bound, coast to coast to coast.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about, Canada. It's about unity. It's about being together. And we need you. Listen to me. We need you. We need you now. We need you to join us.
Time to wake up, people.
You need to join National Citizens Alliance. And what, Adrian?
Yes, people have to wake up. They've got to wake up and just look around. Just look around. Just observe. Observe. Do research. Do research. Go to the Fraser Institute. Very, very highly respected institution, and they've got all kinds of factual data on the things that have been going on in Canada and other countries that have fallen prey to the United Nations and the globalist elite.
So here it is. He's telling you what it is. He's giving you factual information, where to go and seek it out. Furthermore, if you just are too lazy to get off your butt and go out there and figure out what's going on, then you tune in to National Citizens Alliance twice a week to get the facts. We just exposed the corruption and how it's interlinked. Were you there? Did you hear about it? Do you care about your Canada? Do you want to just continue to sell us out? Is that what you want? A democracy is not free. It has to be, you have to fight for it every day.
That's right.
And only in unity together, from coast to coast to coast, we will be able to achieve and retain our sovereignty as a nation. Right. Sovereignty to govern ourselves, not to be controlled by globalists. The Canadian government outsources money at unepical proportions, trillions and billions. That's what they do. They don't put it into the infrastructure where it's needed. They don't put it into the academic structures. They don't put it into the military. They do not take care of us. Yes, it's not good. But you sit there in denial, like accepting the globalists' agenda. You accept the conservative for liberal position on things. It's not okay. Stop the flip-flop. Take action now. Create government with a National Citizens Alliance where you come first. That's what's important. You need to step up to the plate and stop expecting others to do it for you. I'm sorry it's so harsh, but the facts are true. Is it forceful? Yes. You need to unite. We need to unite. It's our country we're losing. It's our country. It's our way of life. Do you not understand what that means? It's transforming before your eyes because you're listening to the twisted spins of government led by Trudeau right at the moment and all of his staff, along with, yes, sir.
This gentleman, no, I was just...
no, I don't want to be filmed, though.
Oh, that's okay. Well, no, I was just explaining to this gentleman here that he's in the same kind of boat as I am.
Yeah, I make under $25,000 a year, and I tax that. I make usually minimum wage, and by the time I pay the tax, what's deducted, it comes out to maybe $8 an hour.
That's just horrible.
Yeah, and
So
I'm in subsidized
able-
housing as a result. And of course, with subsidized housing, you have no privacy. They want to see your income tax each and every year.
Yes,
and
yes.
God forbid if you don't.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Yes,
It's really tough then. So how long you been? Are you Canadian? Immigrant Canadian?
No, I'm Canadian.
You're Canadian, and so you're living in You're not on film. No names being used. You can even watch this being filmed. You're living in subsidized housing. Is it substandard or is it good housing or?
The thing is, it's with a private landlord. A charity subsidizes the difference. I pay only 25%.
Yes.
Some charity subsidizes the difference. But the thing is, it isn't the best per se.
Yeah.
So
it's I think most of the people in the building are either on welfare or working poor.
And these are Canadians, just.
Yeah.
We call them the traditional population, the true Canadian. So it must be very disturbing for people to see what's going on today with immigrants coming in, getting huge fat checks. Does that bother you?
Oh yes, it does bother me.
Can you tell me why?
Because native-born Canadians, have been here generations. They're in worse poverty than their ancestors, and these immigrants, they come in
and they immediately get free subsidized housing. They get immediate access to our healthcare system.
Let's hear what he has to say, Adrian.
Even if they start poor, coming just with a suitcase, before you know it, as I said, they get good housing. I think there's incentive for them to be a landlord and all that. Those who are born here will never save up for a down payment given their whole lifetime. The next generation will be in poverty. I can imagine how the native peoples must feel in that case.
It's very frustrating.
Pretty soon we're going to be the new native people. Our immigrants or the first generations going to put us on reservations now?
Right. Valid point. So I've heard statistics here that actually in about 80 years' time, the traditional Canadian will make up about 20% of the population. So the traditional Euro-Canadian will make up only 20% of our population because of this mass immigration globalization program or policy.
Unfortunately, though, one of the reasons why we have such a high immigration rate is because we're not producing babies the next generation. So what choice supposedly does the government have but to let in immigrants? And of course those immigrants are not producing kids either, which means to more and more, and before you know it, you'll have as you said, maybe 80% of the population are immigrants.
Right. But what do you think the solution to that is? What about tax incentives? What do you think about reducing the overall tax burden upon the taxpayer? Would that help? Do you think that would help create growth? As far as birth rates climbing here in Canada, do you think we could actually put it back, give tax credits back to Canadians where they don't have to pay daycare because we can actually offset that as a government? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm just kind of curious. Do you have any other solutions?
I can't think any offhand, but
Do you
if it
find,
comes.
do you find that you're really struggling to get
Oh,
by?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
are,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think about when you see some of the newly arrivals, immigrants that get this immediate help? Monthly checks, subsidized housing, free health care, driving in the big fancy SUV vehicles.
Yeah. I don't like it. I can see why Trump is anti-immigrant in the States. It's not that he hates immigrants. It's just that American jobs, from his point of view, are meant for American-born people. Why should people who are American-born, several generations, be in homeless shelters while these immigrants have the nice life to begin with, practically right away?
That's right. So we need to bring it right back to the Canadians, and that's what National Citizens Alliance stands for. Did you give him a card, Adrian?
Yes, he's got one. Yeah.
What's your first name?
Donald.
Donald. It's John Savoy. It's a pleasure to meet you. And this is Adrian Bordage.
Nice to meet you.
And we are going to try to create change, okay? But it's going to take unity of Canadians to bind together. Yes, we're being recorded. It's going to take unity of Canadians to do so. Not just your voice, not your actual appearance. I just wanted to say that this is a top priority for our organization. One of the top priorities is veterans, our homeless, and our elderly, our seniors, okay?
So is this